we're about to do something that we have never done in the entire 7 years of this podcast. Stay tuned. This episode of Keeping It Real is brought to you by Real Geeks. How many homes are you going to sell this year? Do you have the right tools? Is your website turning soft leads into interested buyers? Are you spending money on leads that aren't converting? Well, Real Geeks is your solution. Find out why agents across the country choose Real Geeks as their technology partner. Real Geeks was created by an agent for agents. They pride themselves on delivering a sales and marketing solution so that you can easily generate more business. Their agent websites are fast and built for lead conversion with a smooth search experience for your visitors. Real Geeks also includes an easy-to-use agent CRM. So once a lead signs up on your website, you can track their interest and have great follow-up conversations. Real Geeks is loaded with a ton of marketing tools to nurture your leads and increase brand awareness. Visit realgeeks.com/keepingitrealpod and find out why realtors come to Real Geeks to generate more business. Again, visit realgeeks.com/keepingitrealpod. And now, onto our show. Today's episode is brought to you by Corded.io. Are you looking for agents to join your brokerage or team? Now, as a real estate recruiter, I can tell you the answer is always yes. But most agents aren't looking to move right now. So how do you know who to contact? Well, what if I were to tell you there's a recruiting and retention tool powered by artificial intelligence that shows you exactly which agents in your local market are looking to leave their brokerage right now and which agents at your own firm are also looking to leave you? Now, I've been recruiting realtors for 15 years and I've hired over 2,000 agents. I can tell you with no exaggeration, this is the tool I've been waiting for. Corded's AI looks for trends across dozens of variables for each agent in your market and shows you which agents they believe are likely to move. Not only does it do that, but Corded's AI went and visited my recruiting website and read everything I offer. So now when I'm recruiting, Corded's AI tells me exactly what to say based on that agent's needs and what my brokerage can offer. It even writes emails for me. I've never seen anything like it, and I use it every single day. Now, if you are looking to grow your brokerage, Corded.io is the best tool out there. Visit Corded.io to schedule a demo. Again, that's Corded.io. And now, onto the show. This is DJ, and I am so very excited to announce a new monthly series on the Keeping It Real podcast, and it's all about mindset. We know that our mindset is what controls our emotions, which in turn control our behavior, and we know that our behavior is what will lead us to greater success. So each month, mindset coach Paul Salter will be teaching you how to prime yourself for doing the activities that are most likely to lead you to a more productive day, a more profitable day, and a more comfortable day. Our mindset is so important that every professional athlete I've ever interviewed has their own mindset coach. So now you have one too. Paul's going to walk you through exercises. Now, this is a podcast not to passively listen, but to actively engage in Paul's instructions. I know you're going to love this, and I'm so thrilled and honored to have Paul help you every month. If you want to continue your journey with Paul, and you should, visit primedmind.com. That's PRIMED mind.com for one-on-one coaching and more services that Paul can offer you. For now, sit back, relax, and get ready to seize the day.
Welcome to the Inner Game of Real Estate Success podcast, the show within the show of the Keeping It Real podcast, the show designed to give you the tools to master your mind, close with confidence, and thrive in both business and life. I'm your host of this show. My name is Paul Salter, and you might recognize me from the episode that aired on April 28th, 2025. I'm a mindset and performance coach, and I use hypnosis to help my clients get unstuck and ultimately dismantle the destructive patterns of thinking, feeling, believing, and behaving that are keeping them stuck and holding them back from achieving their potential. And I am thrilled to share with you that the last Thursday of every single month, I'm going to host this show within the show, the inner game of real estate success. And if you're curious, if you're here because you feel like you're doing everything right to scale your income and your impact, yet you're not getting the results you want, then you're in the right place. Like I shared, the last Thursday of every month, you can join me to explore the mental and emotional patterns that hold even the top producers back. And more importantly, what you can do, tangible action steps to dismantle and eliminate these patterns for good. You'll learn how to overcome fear, perform under pressure, and avoid burnout so you can show up as your best freaking self in every conversation, in every deal, and every day. So, with that said, let's get into it. And we're going to begin this episode with a story and allow your mind to drift, begin bringing in some imagery, some visual elements of this story. A man and his mentor are walking along the coast, a beautiful Californian beach. They're strolling for one of their monthly meetings, and it's early in the morning. Coffee in hand, the sun has just come up, the waves are gently crashing along the shoreline. And up ahead in the distance, they both happen to notice a magnificent house that sits right on the edge of the beach, appearing as if it's not only all alone, but the way it's facing and the way the structure is designed, it appears as it has this entire beach as its own backyard. It's a beautiful mansion, an incredible, desirable location to live. And as this young man and his mentor continue walking on their morning stroll, and they get a little bit closer to this house, they happen to notice a for sale sign. And that for sale sign has an asking price of $5 million. And the younger man, whose mind is already racing a million miles per minute, he wonders aloud to his mentor, how much do I need to make? How much do I need to earn to be able to afford a house like this one day? And he quickly begins to work out the math behind the deal aloud, kind of, thinking out loud, if you will. Okay, if I put 1 million down, 4 million over 30 years, let's say the interest rate is 7%. And he goes a little further. Okay, this is where I'm at now. If I close an average of X number of properties per year with an average transaction cost of Y, and then also I double the number of investment properties I own in the next 5 years, well, that'll make my net worth Z. And he proceeds to go through this aloud, kind of under his breath, but aware, fully aware his mentor is listening. And after the third draft, he kind of feels a sense of excitement, a sense of peace. Like, okay, if I really put my head down and work my ass off the next 5 years, this is doable. And as he poses this question, is this doable? Really looking for some validation and encouragement, which is what he's hoping he'll get from his mentor. An awkward silence ensues. And the young man, perhaps uncertain whether the older gentleman, his mentor, has heard him, he kind of nudges him. Hey, what do you think? Do you think I'll be able to afford this house one day? And again, another awkward silence. His mentor looks at him. He pauses. And he walks another few steps before responding. You're asking the wrong question, he tells the young man. The real question isn't, will I be able to afford this? How many more deals, transactions, or investment properties do I need? The real question is this. Who do you need to become to afford this house? This short story illustrates a mistake that too many high-performing individuals make. overly fixating on the what and the how of goal attainment without ever gaining clarity on the identity transformation that absolutely must ensue to attain that goal. The undercurrent of achievement of any big, challenging, audacious goal is a significant identity transformation and upgrade. Whether you're trying to close 7 or 8 figures this year, looking to double the size of your team or purchase 5 more investment properties, the reason you've not yet been able to do so isn't a lack of knowledge problem. You know what to do. Or to be candid, if you don't, there's Google, there's plenty of phenomenal business specific mentors who can teach you the tactical X's and O's of what you need to do. But the truth is, again, you don't have a lack of knowledge problem. You have an identity problem. You haven't doubled the number of closings in the last couple of years because you're still the same person. The number of closings you had this year mirrors that of last year, which mirrors that of the 2 years before, because you're still the same person. You still hit snooze multiple times when your alarm goes off in the morning. You still skip workouts, remain inconsistent with your diet. You numb with booze, THC, and all the other above recreational drugs. You get lost in doom scrolling and Netflix. You half-ass cold calls. You suck at outreach. You barely attend networking events, yet you wonder why you're still stuck in the same income bracket, still closing more or less the same number of deals every year. Your income, your impact haven't changed because you haven't changed. You can't change unless you change. If you want to do better, you need to be better. And that's what I really want you to take away from this conversation thus far. The reason you haven't achieved your goals because you haven't stepped into, evolved into the identity of the man or woman worthy, deserving, and capable of achieving that goal. And I want to give you some frameworks and help you better understand what exactly I mean, what is encompassed within our identity, so you can have some pinpoint opportunities to focus on to begin the upgrade necessary within your identity to achieve your goal. In short, your identity encompasses the collection of your self-talk, your beliefs, and your behaviors. And we'll do a much deeper dive into some of these elements in future episodes. But here's what I need you to understand now. Every single one of us operates with a collection of beliefs. We all have 4 core beliefs. Now, these beliefs are completely different amongst every individual. So the better way to frame them is we all have 4 core categories of beliefs. We have beliefs about ourselves. You have a belief about what you feel you are worthy, deserving, and capable of. You have your own preconceived beliefs about other people. Are they to be trusted? Can I rely on other people? You have your own set of beliefs about life, about business, about real estate. Is it fair or is it unfair? And you also have your own unique beliefs about money. Is there enough or is there never enough? And research estimates that by the age of 7 years old, 95% of your belief system is formed, which means it's not really your fault you believe what it is you believe. However, you are the only person who can change, dismantle, and upgrade your belief. A belief is nothing more than a lens through which you see the world. It acts as a filter to help you filter your decision making and your action taking. And the problem that so many high performers run into when aspiring to ascend to that next level of success is they have an outdated filter. It's almost like they have a filter designed to only allow them to see a very small piece of the puzzle, a very narrow lens of the opportunities around them. And that keeps them stuck in a pattern of playing small, thinking small, and feeling small. So as you begin thinking about the beliefs that may or may not be holding you back right now, I really invite you to not only start uncovering their origin, where did they come from, but start challenging them. Is that really true? Is that your belief? Start poking holes, start probing, start the dismantling process. So once we have this lens through which we see the world, it's imperative you begin auditing your self talk. Your self talk encompasses the words you use to speak to and about yourself. Words are magical. And I like to describe them as little emotion or energetic carrying vesicles. There's a reason that the construction of letters to form words is literally referred to as spelling. They have a magical ability. If you continue to speak unkindly to yourself, speak unkindly about yourself, well, guess what? You're going to feel like crap. You're going to feel drained, exhausted, bogged down, like you don't have the energy or even the ability to achieve your goals because you're rude, you're critical, you're harsh, you're judgmental. You're constantly berating yourself and beating yourself down. Where's the energy, the opportunity, and the inspiration needed to go chase those big dreams of yours? Guess what? It's not there because you literally have exhausted it from yourself by the way you speak to yourself. And then the third component that we also, of course, need to address that encompasses your identity are your behaviors, your habits, if you will. You and I each possess a collection of what are known as sabotaging behaviors. And they're the behaviors, and I like to break sabotaging behaviors up into two categories. There's capital S sabotaging behaviors, which are the obvious sabotaging behaviors. They're the behaviors that any person in the world, no matter the language they speak or the culture they were raised in, would look at that behavior and be like, yeah, duh, no wonder you're not achieving your goal. That's the gambling. That's the addiction. That's the mismanagement of money. It's the infidelity and all of the above behaviors related to a category like that. However, there also exists another category of sabotaging behaviors, and I refer to these as lowercase s sabotaging behaviors. These are the behaviors that, on their own, they're easy to shrug off. Oh, it's a one-time thing if I hit snooze this morning, or I missed the gym today, I'll get it tomorrow. On their own, they're easy to shrug off and ignore. It doesn't really seem like they're that big of a deal. But these behaviors quickly accumulate. And eventually, they pack a massively powerful punch of sabotage and self destruction. And it's important to understand that you engage in these behaviors because your current identity is a place of safety and familiarity. Your subconscious mind has one priority: to keep you safe. Anytime you begin to step outside of your comfort zone, maybe you had a phenomenal Q1 this year. It's the best Q1 you've ever had, financially speaking. And now, in the midst of Q2, you're struggling. You feel like you've regressed. This is because you stepped out of your identity. Your identity was entrenched in last year's average income. And now you had a hell of a start to the year. You start stepping out of it. Your subconscious is like, wait a second. That's foreign. That's unfamiliar. I don't know what's at that income bracket. Here's a handful of sneaky sabotaging behaviors to pull you back down to reality. You notice you're stuck. You're half-assing your workout routine, your diet. You're never present with your family. You're not following through on cold outreach, warm outreach, networking events. You're not putting forth the effort you did in Q1, and you're full of excuses and baffled about what is happening when truthfully, your subconscious is doing what it's supposed to do, and you're not aware because you're not in control. And it's really important to strategically implement periods of solitude, silence, and stillness to reflect on your day, to reflect on your week, on your month. What am I doing well? Where am I going wrong? How am I getting in my own way? So that you can proactively get in front of some of these destructive patterns of thinking, feeling, and behaving that might lead to you stuck in the cycle of 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. So again, your identity includes your beliefs, what you believe to be true about yourself, others, life, business, and money. It includes the words you use to speak to and about yourself, and it includes the behaviors and habits you engage in. And now that you're aware of your identity, you can begin to see, if you're aspiring to break through to the next figure level of income, maybe you're striving for a 6-figure year to a 7-figure year, a 7-figure year to an 8-figure year. There's a massive identity difference between those two levels each side of those arbitrary thresholds. And one of the most powerful questions you can begin to ask yourself, in addition to who do I need to become to achieve my goal, is what are the best of the best in my industry? What are the best of the best who have achieved the goal I desire to achieve? What are they doing that I'm not? Similarly, what are they not doing that I am doing? And we'll circle back on this at the end of today's conversation, but those are 3 questions that, if you're intentional and you take massive action answering them, they have the power to change your life. Now, speaking of questions, I want to dig into questions a little bit more. Most people ask the wrong questions. It was Tony Robbins who said, the quality of your questions determines the quality of your life. Again, if you're struggling to break through to the next level, if you feel like you're floundering, stuck in a cycle of 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, you're likely asking yourself the wrong questions. And to paint a picture, you might find it relatable when I suggest there are multiple moments in a day or a week where you're just staring at your CRM or sales pipeline. Maybe each morning as the week progresses, you're gripping your coffee a little bit tighter and just thinking, wondering, praying, hoping, why can't I ever get ahead? Why am I still in the same position I was 3 months ago, 12 months ago, even 3 years ago? Or maybe after another deal falls through, or another team member underperforms, or even leaves, you start asking yourself, what's wrong with me? Why does this always happen? And in the moment, it might feel like you're just letting off steam. It might feel like harmless venting. But here's the problem. Your subconscious is always listening. And just like a search engine, it starts scanning for answers. And let me give you a couple hypothetical examples that might be incredibly relatable. If you're always asking yourself, why can't I scale my business? Well, your mind is going to start to show you every other past failed hire, marketing misfire, or moment that you felt like an imposter, and the little bit of success you did have was a fluke. Ask yourself, why can't I find a reliable, good team member? And your brain will feed you every story of flaky agents, broken trust, or wasted time training someone who didn't work out. Ask yourself, why do I always choke when things seem to be going so well? And your subconscious will dig up every moment of sabotage or self-doubt to prove you right. The questions you ask shape your focus, your emotions, your decisions, and ultimately your results. But think about this. What if you began to flip the script? Edit the type of questions you ask yourself. Instead of asking, why can't I find good help? Ask, what qualities am I clearly not defining or communicating throughout the hiring process? Instead of asking, why does my business always plateau? Ask, what process, habit, or mindset shift would make the biggest impact right now? Instead of asking, why do I keep falling short of my goals? Consider asking, what's one daily action I can take to build a version of myself who hits those goals? Do you hear the difference? Are you beginning to see the difference, beginning to feel the difference? The first set of questions keeps you stuck in problem mode, focused on fear, frustration, and past failures. Whereas the second set of questions puts you in solution mode, focused on growth, clarity, and control. And here's the kicker: your subconscious will always look for answers. So why not make it work for you rather than against you? You have the power to ask questions, to ask the right questions, to ask better questions. Choose them wisely. And as we begin coming to a close in this conversation, I want to leave you with an action plan, with a tangible takeaway that I promise you, if you follow through on, it will provide you with more clarity, more confidence to start taking the action necessary to update your self-talk, your beliefs and behaviors, to evolve into that identity necessary to achieve your goals. And this exercise is kind of my own evolved variation of an exercise from a book called Be Your Best Self, Only Better by Mike Baer. And the title is more or less that, but it's a phenomenal book. I highly recommend it. And the exercise, and I do this with all of my clients, is very simple. You set a timer for 20 minutes. You get a piece of paper and something to write with. And in these 20 minutes, you start asking yourself and answering these questions. Again, what are the most successful people in my industry doing that I'm not doing? What are the most successful people in my industry not doing that I am? Who do I need to become to achieve blank? How does that version of me talk to and about myself? What does that version of me believe about what I'm deserving, capable, and worthy of? Believe about life, business, trusting other people, believe about money. How would other people describe that version of myself? What are that version of myself's non-negotiable habits? How does that person respond to stress or unpredictable challenges? And again, this exercise, if you take it seriously and you kind of emotionally vomit what comes to mind, you start getting clarity. You start seeing dots with more clarity than ever before, dots that become easier to connect. And I love an extension of this question: who do I need to become to achieve blank, to serve as a fantastic daily journal prompt. And it's something, when done in the morning and even revisited before bed, that allows you to plant the seed of clarity about who you need to become, what needs to be done to get there, and allows your subconscious mind to fertilize and nourish that seed while you're sleeping and as the days pass. So slowly but surely, you are stepping into that next best version of yourself. Who do you need to become to achieve your goal? Stop fixating on the what do I need to do? How do I need to do it? Get clear on who you need to become and take action. You can't change unless you change. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to an episode of The Inner Game of Real Estate Success. Again, I'm your host, Paul Salter, a mindset and performance coach. And if you found today's episode helpful, if you felt a shift in your perspective, I'd love for you to share this episode with another realtor or somebody else who's been asking the wrong questions while remaining stuck in a plateau of frustration. And if you're ready to go deeper and further uncover and ultimately unlearn the destructive patterns of thinking, feeling, believing, and behaving that are holding you back, I invite you to visit the link in the show notes to schedule a mindset coaching discovery call with me so we can further dig into what needs to be addressed, unlearned, and let go of to get you out of your own way so you can achieve and experience all that you desire and deserve. Until next time, keep showing up, keep taking massive action, and remember that your greatest edge is the one between your ears. I'll catch you in the next episode.